Now I invite you to get into a comfortable position. Make sure your speaker or your view is on speaker view, and we will hear the spoken word of our sermon today. From the Christian Testament in the Bible, the book of James, chapter 2, verses 14 through 17. What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith but do not have works? Can faith save you? If a brother or sister is naked and lacks daily food, and one of you says to them, "Go in peace, keep warm, and eat your fill," and yet you do not supply their bodily needs, what is the good of that? So faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. Faith by itself, if it has no works, is dead. And our Unitarian Universalist way of saying this is in the affirmation. Love is the doctrine. Quest for truth is our sacrament. And service is our prayer. Service is our prayer. Our worship theme for the month of February is transformation. And by transformation, I mean a change in who you are at your core. I mean spiritual transformation. I'll repeat a quote I shared last week from the Reverend Seth Fisher from a UU World magazine. We're not in the business of getting people to sing hymns and listen to sermons. We're in the business of transforming lives. And there's a personal spiritual transformation available to all of you in service to others. But since we're a people of words, what does service mean? Well, you can always go to the internet. And service means the action of helping, doing work for someone, a helpful act, providing aid. And I know by this time in your life, whether you're 20 or 90, you've heard the moral obligation and even the life-enhancing value of service to others. But there's an abundance of opportunities to give service improperly. Some acts seem to you to be helpful, but can really produce negative consequences. There are mistakes we make in service to others, mostly centered around our own mental approach to serving others. Things like that service is only about giving money. Another mistake, thinking that service is only about doing things like cleaning rain gutters, cooking meals, making deliveries, saving sea turtles. We also too often think that a gift of service is transactional. And by that I mean we think that if we serve someone, that we should get recognition and rewards, and the recipient should be thanking us. One of my favorite quotes is from Indira Gandhi, and she says it this way, quote, "My grandfather once told me that there were two kinds of people, those who do the work and those who take the credit. He told me to try and be in the first group because there was far less competition." But perhaps the biggest mistake we make about serving others is that we want our service to make an obvious positive difference. We want success. We want every action we give to others to make the world a better place through that difference. Accordingly, we often think about the systemic changes necessary to fix a societal problem that we're concerned about. Too often, we don't serve sandwiches to the homeless because we're more concerned about the causes of homelessness and not that someone is hungry. We don't give money to a panhandler because we're concerned that the money will be used in ways we don't agree with. We are so conservative with our precious life energy and time that we are only willing to spend it in ways that are assured to make a positive difference. But what is a positive difference? On what scale? In whose life? We overthink charity, generosity, and service to others. We often think way too much about what is the right service, what is good service, and what is the best service to give. And I believe that our fear of doing the wrong things or doing things that may not matter much stops us from doing anything. That precludes us from serving anyone at all. I want to tell you about my mission trip to New Orleans. I served my internship in a church in Massachusetts, and that church made annual field trips to New Orleans. And I went on that field trip for 1 week in April of 2012. You may remember Katrina completely destroyed New Orleans in August of 2005. And so when I went there on the mission trip, it was 7 years after Katrina. The lower Ninth Ward looked like a deserted battleground. And I have to tell you, at that time, I was cynical and doubtful about mission trips, thinking that they were the elitist, privileged exercise of the rich. Oh, you go down somewhere, you pop in for a few days, you give away things, and you go away feeling like you did something of value to those poor people. And my cynicism fueled my anger. Why would I cut down weeds with a scythe in New Orleans when they would just grow back? And I don't know if you've ever chopped down weeds in the deep South when it's 95 degrees and extremely humid. It's tough. I was angry. Why was I working on a house that would certainly be flooded out in the next hurricane? Why was I picking up trash that would certainly be back in a few days? But in my service there, I was transformed by an entire city with PTSD. Talked to a gentleman who was trapped in the Colosseum during Katrina. And he talked about every day they'd go through the Colosseum and find people that had died and move them and stack them up in a side hallway. This same gentleman would wade out into the water, and the water was toxic because of all the chemicals and pollutions, and so it burned your skin. He would wade out and go on what he called baby rescue, because a baby wearing the pamper floats, and he would go on baby patrol, and some of them were alive. Talking with these people, my cynicism became my shame and helped transform me. All those weeds I cut down, they grew back. All that drywall and painting I did, it may be gone. The lower Ninth Ward is still rebuilding. But my trip to New Orleans showed me that there are many ways to be in service to others, like deeply listening to someone's story. That can be service. By being humble without judgment when you're with someone, that is service. Smiling at someone can be service. Just sitting with someone, just sitting, can be service. Crying with someone, laughing with someone, calling someone on the phone, sending a card, praying. Praying can be service because prayer can change the one who is praying. We should not overthink what it means to be in service to someone. Service doesn't have to yield any physical results. You don't have to go to Texas to save sea turtles. Service doesn't have to fix anything. It doesn't even have to change anything. If we can just shuck off our thinking that we ought to get something out of service to others, that will open the door to personal spiritual transformation. Service is providing aid and being helpful, and that can be achieved in a wide variety of ways. Love is our doctrine. The quest for truth is our sacrament. And service is our prayer. Service in all forms that help another in the moment. May it be so. Amen, and blessed be.